Here is a fox, whose appearance looks less intimidating than it would actually be in reality. And here is that same exact fox that had to die in order for its fur to be processed and worn by this woman. Some of these animals spend their entire lives in fur farms in which they are constantly in preparation of being slaughtered. The thought of an animal being caged in and dying, and knowing that their fur will be distributed to people without having the ability to give consent, is something that occurs more than thousands of times a year. Wearing the real fur of an innocent yet dangerous animal isn't okay if that animal must be killed for it. But would it be okay to buy that expensive hat or coat if that animal was already dying from natural causes? If this were the case, no animal would have to suffer in order for a partaker to get that fur. That same ideology can apply to human extensions. Animal fur and human extensions can be compared in a sense that hair can be donated after humans die as well. Extensions could be in high demand like human organs. Animal fur rights are fought for, but human extension rights aren't. And money blinds people from the backstories of it all. Extensions come in forms of different colors, lengths, and styles, but they as well have come from a living or once living source. Some of the hair that comes from women of different cultures are given after they die, or there are even cases in which women donate their hair to others worldwide by choice. If an animal were to get really sick from a bacteria they've obtained, or if they were dying of old age, they wouldn't be considered killed by society due to their cause of death. It could be believed that consuming the fur of an animal who has died naturally caused no injustice to their lives, being that they weren't killed purposely for human pleasure, which, as a result, could be considered acceptable for their fur to be worn. In order for this to happen, no animal would be harmed, locked away in a fur farm, mistreated, or slaughtered. Now, if this was said to be acceptable, does that portray that the concern is not with people wearing the fur? It is just with what happened to that animal in order for that fur to be worn? The difference with the human extensions and animals is that no human has to die or be killed in order for their hair to be reproduced. But some people care more about the life and fur of a dangerous fox over the life and hair of a harmless human being. I'm sure we've all heard about the ideology that humans' lives weren't saved in order for their organs to be donated. And if this ideology were true, would those people still want to be organ donors if they knew that their lives weren't being saved for that reason alone? That same question could be applied to women who've said they wanted to donate their hair when they died. There could be instances where people's lives weren't saved because there was a desperate need for their hair, just like there is a desperate need for human organs. People all over the world are in need of organs for purposes mostly stemming from illnesses, and those organs come from donors who are alive as well as donors who are deceased. Organs are needed for people to be as healthy and functional as possible, but some people are so into their image that they may have a need for hair in order to obtain a physical function as well. Companies will do whatever they have to do in order to keep their customers satisfied and to have financial increases. So could it be possible that women who consent to having hair donated after death are at a higher demand of dying than those who don't offer to give their hair away? If there is a possibility from increasing in profit, lives may not be as saved or fought for as they should be. The type of hair or fur that a person has can show the amount of income or wealth that the individual or their family has, which to some is an important factor. Some people spend over $500 daily on these extensions alone because they want to have the best of the best hair that there is. The best type of extensions are the Virgin Remy, human extensions. And this just means that the hair is collected by a single donor and is chemically unprocessed. There are different categories that stem from virgin human hair, including some of the best qualities entailing Peruvian hair, Malaysian hair, and Brazilian. Some of the most popular furs that people wear are fox, chinchilla, and mink, to name a few, which start at around $1,000 ranging to well over $10,000. But that fur was taken from an animal who didn't have a say in what happened next. Yes, there are some women that willingly donate their hair to Americans, but there are also poor women who are exploited and bribed with money for a better living in other countries in exchange for their hair. Some women also have to give their hair up as a symbol of sacrifice, regardless of if they wanted to or not. In a sense, some women have no choice, just like animals. There are people in this world who are high in demand about animal rights and protecting them from being slaughtered or belonging to fur farms. But there are people in this world whose hair is taken from them, some by choice and others without. Hair is something that defines who people are and is something that a lot of people are comfortable with and proud of. It sets them apart from others, like that ginger, or like that blonde, or like that brunette. Especially those people who grow their hair out for years. That is something that they take pride in. How about that pet whose owner refuses to get their hair cut, simply because their hair is a part of who that dog is? Now, there are certain instances in which people may give away their hair to make someone happy who may really want or need it. But it should always be by choice. People spend their money on expensive furs just to flaunt it, not even thinking of the animal that has suffered to make that happen. And people purchase hair extensions, not even thinking about the story behind the person whose hair it was. There is an ideology that money is power. And as long as people have the money to purchase items that look nice, they don't think of who or what they may have hurt to get that hair or to get that fur. Aside from money, some people seem to share compassion with animals in ways that aren't shared with their own kind. People. Is it right that some are quick to deny wearing or using real fur, but are the same ones who are quick to purchase and use human extensions from people who might have had to unwillingly give up their hair as well? Though there may be an ideology that humans may not have to be killed or harmed in particular in order for their hair to be donated as opposed to animals, that doesn't make it right for some to be forced to do it for human satisfaction. Just as animals lose who they are for human satisfaction, so do people whose hair is donated without the choice of doing so. Not to say that any animal should be killed or harmed for any reason at all, but there is something wrong with the fact that some stand up for keeping harmful animals' lives and fur protected, but that same energy is not put into humans having the choice to keep a piece of who they are as well. With all of the hair stores that are spread throughout the country, imagine how many heads have been shaved, how many pieces of identity were lost, or how many women were bribed in order for that hair to be distributed. Imagine how many organs are donated after death. But also imagine how many of those people's hair was cut off and sold as well. And with all of the fur coats, hats, and rugs floating around the country, imagine how many animals were protested for and how many fur farms were protested against without a second thought. Human extensions in comparison to the ideologies of animal fur are demonstrated through its level of high demand, along with other everyday necessities such as money and organs. When it comes to caring for each other, people tend to put other things ahead of their own. Could this be our society?